Alright, hello and welcome back to the. I don't know, I put the thanks for watching screen on. That's not the right screen. Back to the Pixelmon World Cup 24. We do have Poke Cafe and Poke Galaxia fighting today. Poke Cafe being the 11th seed and Poke Galaxia being the 6th seed overall. So we might have a bit of a closer match than we've seen otherwise. We do immediately see the Grimmsnarl and Tapu Fini lead as the Tapu Fini immediately goes for the Choice Scarfed trick, which will give the Grimmsnarl a Choice Scarf, which will honestly cripple it going into the future. It does get to set both screens though, however, losing its light clay will mean that it will not be able to have as much utility as it wants to going into the future, and also the screens won't be lasting as long either. I was gonna put. I don't know if my mic can pick up the outside noise of my window open because it's hot, but slightly. It's better. But you also see the surf come out from Tapu Fini. The Tapu Fini just wants to start chipping damage a little. Tapu Fini will actually go for the defog, clearing the screens that were set earlier, as the Jirachi will come in. I do hope that's not too loud or too quiet. I can't audio mix for the hell of it. Tapu Fini will switch out, bringing in the Hydreigon as the Jirachi goes for Calm Mind. Hydreigon very potentially threatening this Jirachi here. It really depends on what this Jirachi is. I can't recall the base speed Hydreigon, but Jirachi will go for a Z Happy Hour as Hydreigon sets up a substitute. This Jirachi, it has one Calm Mind and one Z Happy Hour, so it is going to be hitting very hard. It's going to be very fast and it's going to be very defensive. Hydreigon substitute does fade as the Dark Pulse comes out. It will do a chunk, but not quite as much as I'm assuming was hoped. This Hydreigon will die this next turn if it stays in. The Clodsire will come out, a fantastic check here. Completely ignoring the stat changes. Possibly still looking at risk of taking something like a stored power though. Clodsire does actually go for the haze. Will be drastically reducing the capabilities of this Jirachi, and also that Z Happy Hour is not coming out again. So stored power in the future as well, the effectivity of that is going to be considerably lower. Grimmsnarl will come back on field. Clodsire does recover in the turn that it sees it is free to do so. Remember, this Grimmsnarl has been given a Choice Scarf, so capabilities of it is really going to be quite low. It does go for the reflect though, um, as the toxic comes out from the Clodsire. Oh, and the Ursaluna comes out as well. Does get toxic. That is actually quite big, as usually, of course, it wants to set burn on itself for the guts proc. Poison will also get the guts proc. However, that toxic damage will build up over and over and over multiple turns, so it will not be able to stay in for as long as it might want to. Celesteela does switch in, taking a crit facade, taking over half health. Um, Very high amount of damage, but is probably not too worried about taking another hit. As it will not be able to do over half unless it crits again. It does go for the protect, scouting out that fire punch and also regenerating a bit more health through leftovers. Let's go for the facade again. Celesteela sets up Leech Seed. And also Reflect will now be down. Iron Moth does come in. Gets the speed boost from Quark Drive. We'll be looking to threaten out the Celesteela, however, we may see another Protect come out. We do not actually, straight away bringing in the Clodsire, taking not that much damage from a Fiery Dance, and also, not that it would matter against the Clodsire, but Fiery Dance does not get the special attack pro. So Iron Moth will be threatened out by this Clodsire, even with very little to no special attack investment in Earth Power or an Earthquake. Will do very high damage on something as frail as an Iron Moth. Ursaluna does come back on field, taking the Earthquake, taking a large chunk of damage, and actually dying to the toxic damage. Losing that so early. Oh, I say so early, it's turn 17. That is the first loss we've seen out on both sides, and losing an Ursaluna of all things is going to hurt. The Toxic proc in that earlier was a very, very good move, as was the Choice Scarf as well. The Cholo of Poke Cafe is playing very well. Eddie Rock presumably thinking carefully as to what they're going to do here. Isn't that Ursaluna is going to hurt a lot? but it's by no means over for them quite yet. Gyarados will come on field. We do already know that this Clodsire is unaware, it's not water absorbed, so it will likely be threatened out here. Dragon will come back in as Gyarados actually goes for the taunt, likely expecting the Clodsire to stay in and go for a Toxic. As the Hydreigon will come in for free. I'm unsure exactly what this Hydreigon has that could threaten this Gyarados out, as I don't see Hydreigon much anymore. The Hydreigon will switch out as the Grimmsnarl comes back in, taking the Dark Pulse. Threatening with maybe a potential Spirit Break. Grimmsnarls usually run Taunt, Reflect, Light Screen, and then that last move is either Parting Shot or Spirit Break. As the Silceal will come in, probably expecting the Spirit Break. Potentially looking to threaten this Grimmsnarl with a Heavy Slam. Grimmsnarl will switch straight out into the Cleavor as Leech Seeds are reset. You see there, saw Light Screen or Reflect? Saw Light Screen. And the Stone Axe will come out from the Cleavor, setting Stealth Rocks, but the Silceal will retort with a Heavy Slam, immediately killing the Cleavor. Eddie Rock is in a very rough position now, losing both their Ursaluna and their Cleavor, and having their Grimmsnarl basically neutered. Cholo is in a fantastic place from here, and might I remind you, Micholo is of Poke Cafe. It's currently rated as a lower seed than Poke Galaxia. The Iron Moth will come back out though, looking to threaten the very smart move there, throwing the Celesteal out, expecting the Clodsire to come back in though, and switching back to Gyarados. Giving this Gyarados the upper hand. Gyarados will actually go for Taunt though, likely once again expecting the Clodsire to stay in and go for a Toxic. It does stay in, but it doesn't go for a Toxic. It goes for an Earthquake, expecting the Iron Moth to come back in, but it doesn't. However, in wasting those turns, the Light Screen has worn off once more. And the Hydreigon will come back on field. A bit of Stealth Rock chip as the Gyarados goes for Dragon Dance. As it is now revealed that this is a Mega Gyarados as it goes for a second Dragon Dance, with the Dark Pulse coming out from Hydreigon, barely touching it due to its new Dark typing. This Mega Gyarados is now at 2 Dragon Dances, +2 speed and +2 attack. It has suddenly become very scary in the field, and the Clodsire, the unaware Pokemon, will be unable to tank a hit. Does Micholo have an answer for this? Gyarados Dragon Dances for a 3rd time as the Earth Power comes out. Cholo looking to do any damage they can. The Dragon is getting scarier and scarier and scarier. Do wonder if Micholo has any priority, as the Earthquake does come out, taking out the Hydreigon. out normally would not have actually taken out the High Dragon. However, due to High Dragon's levitate. However, Mega Gyarados does have Mold Breaker, which will get bust straight through that and allow that to hit. Celesteela will come in the Volcarona. Likely looking for the Flame Body proc, which does not unfortunately come out. So Tapu Fini comes in. Cholo's scrambling for a counter here. Earthquake will come out, and it will not. No, it will kill. Never mind. I thought it would not kill the Tapu Fini there. I think we may very well see a sweep from this Gyarados here. Cholo, despite having some fantastic reads earlier and plays earlier, we may see a sweep. Protect does come out from the Celesteela to waste any and all turns they possibly can. A second crunch does come out and will take out the Celesteela. Does Micholo have an answer, or is it just over here and now? Buzzer will come out on field. Will be immune to the enhanced damage, but it doesn't matter. The Earthquake will still be enough. Iron Hands comes out on field. And it will go down. That Gyarados did just sweep 4-0. That's why you cannot let a setup sweeper like that get on field and do as it wants to. As Eddie Rock will, despite being honestly on the back foot before that Gyarados came out on field, will be able to take that match back and take the first point for PokeGalaxia. Remember, this is a single elimination first to two format now. So PokeGalaxia only needs to win this next game and they will be through. PokeCafe cannot afford to lose another game or they will be out of the tournament. Our next match will be between Professor Gazpacho and Agitative. Professor Gazpacho, I believe, is from PokeCafe. I think. I am correct. Professor Gazpacho is from PokeCafe, Agitative of PokeGalaxia. Both players do seem to be ready. We will be starting in just a moment. That's fantastic timing. As our second match will start, Professor Gazpacho and Agitative as we see Galarian, Slowking, and Torkoal lead. We may see a Sun team on the side of Professor Gazpacho. We haven't seen many of those. I believe we've only actually seen one other of those in the tournament so far, due to the fact that Mega Charizard Y is currently bugged. A Torkoal will immediately go for a Stealth Rock, though, as the Galarian Slowking goes for the Chilly Reception, clearing out the Sun. Galarian Slowking is a fantastic counter to any weather team, honestly, unless it's a Hail/Snow team, which we haven't seen any of in this tournament so far. Slowking will switch out using Chilly Reception, bringing in the Landorus, forcing out the opposing Torkoal as the opposing Landorus also switches in. Able to do so safely. I don't know which. We do see a hidden power. I think it might be a hidden power ice come out there from one of the Landoruses, as the other one goes for the knockoff. I do believe that is Agitative's Landorus with the hidden power ice, though. Very, very rare, but pays off as the Alomomola is forced in. As Agitative's Landorus will take advantage of that, taking the turn to set rocks. Switch back out using U-turn, doing a tiny little bit of chip on the Alomomola as Alomomola goes for Wish, likely wanting to bring that Landorus back in with a fresh bill of health. Alomomola does go for the flip turn, doing a tiny bit of chip, but it really doesn't matter too much on something like Slowking. Bringing the Hatterene in as Slowking goes for the Toxic, and it does get bounced back. Unfortunately, we'll be unable to affect, but very good, as having the Landorus get Toxic there could have been quite bad. Hatterene will go for Nuzzle, getting the paralysis. As the Sludge Bomb comes out, triggering Hatterene's eject button, bringing Torkoal back in. Setting Sun for a brief moment, that's probably not going to matter, as I'm expecting Slowking to go for another Chilly Reception, but that paralysis could be very, very big. Reducing Slowking's reliability is really going to hurt it. As the Torkoal does go for Rapid Spin, clearing out the rocks on its side, as the Slowking goes for the Future Sight. Houndoom does come in, still under Sun. Slowking is unable to do anything about it, as it is paralyzed. Slowking will be able to take full advantage of this Sun here, and will heavily threaten out this Slowking with a potential solar powered Dark Pulse. And will also threaten most things that want to switch into that. Mega Houndoom is a Pokemon that hits really, really, really hard in the right conditions. And these are those right conditions. Agitative, likely thinking carefully here as to what they want to do. Slowking cannot safely stay in. Do they have an effective switch in here? Same breath, they may want to actually keep the Slowking in, as the Houndoom may go for a nasty plot or something, and may go for a slow chilly reception, but it doesn't, as the Samurott will come in. Hisuian Samurott will come in, looking to want to threaten Mega Houndoom right back out. Of course, taking the future side, not really caring. As Samurott goes for Sucker Punch as the Alomomola comes in. Ceaseless Edge, the first layer of spikes is set as Alomomola goes for Wish. Risky keeping the Hisuian Samurott out like that could very well have been toxic there. Every turn it remains out in front of this Alomomola is another turn it could be toxic. Second Ceaseless Edge does come out as the second layer of spikes is set as Alomomola goes for Flip Turn. What's going to be brought in here? You see the Landorus come back in, brought back basically to full health through that Wish. Does get the Intimidate proc, likely looking to threaten out the Samurott, assuming it will not be able to do enough damage to it through the Intimidate and the Sun. Also, potentially, this could be a Scarfed Landorus as well. Opposing Landorus will switch out as... so the opposing Hisuian Samurott will switch out, bringing in their Landorus, as we do see a U-turn out here. Bringing in Hisuian Lilligant. A Pokemon I don't think we've actually seen yet in this turn. You see an Ice Spinner come out from the Lilligant as Landorus likely stays in, thinking it can actually hurt it. It can't. We do see the Ice Spinner come out and immediately take out that Landorus. That might hurt for Agitative, as Landorus would have been one of their best pivots. Darkrai will come on field. Do you see Hatterene come back on field, taking a Sludge Bomb and going down for it? As we may have been expecting a Z Hypnosis or regular Hypnosis coming out, looking to bounce back, as Torkoal does come back on field. Realize that the sun may be set specifically for that Lilligant, as it's very likely running chlorophyll, and will be able to outspeed this Darkrai unless it is Scarf. If it is Scarfed, it will not be able to outspeed. Does go for another Rapid Spin as we see another Sludge Bomb come out. This Darkrai probably is Scarfed, actually revealing that. The Torkoal barely clinging onto life. The spikes from earlier, however, are now gone. Do you see the Landorus coming back in, banking on that Darkrai being choice locked? If it's not, then an Ice Beam would hurt a lot here. A U-turn here threatens a Darkrai, also threatens the Samurott, as the Kartana comes in the opposing side. And also, I just realized that Torkoal did get to live there, so it may very well come back out later to set Sun one more time. Ligand will come back on field. Looking to threaten this Kartana, as the Kartana is threatened here from a fighting type move. The Kartana is threatened, Darkrai is threatened, the Samurott is threatened. The Slowking is the only safe bet, does come in. I can't tell you how much damage I just took because HP didn't update, but the it will switch out into the Lumamola, which actually gets to come in for free due to that paralysis. That paralysis really starting to bite that Slowking. We'll go for the chilly reception, clearing out that sun. We'll see Medicham come. I don't know whether that's kind of funny. We will see Medicham come in against this Lumamola. Very, very potentially threatening with a Thunder Punch here. We actually see a Zen Headbutt coming out as Lumamola goes for Toxic. You see the close combat come out, but it will not be enough. We see another wish. See a protect here to get this Lumamola back up to high health, or are we going to see a switch here? We are going to see a switch here as the Landorus will come back on field. Cortana does go for knockoff, getting rid of Landorus's choice scarf. Be very important later on. And which actually it is very important because that prevents this Landorus from threatening the never mind, the Darkrai is also choice scarf. Samurott, right, prevents it from threatening the Samurott as well. Landorus will use Earthquake, taking their Cortana very low. Cortana goes for knockoff again, looking to do any chip it can on this Landorus, as the Cortana will be taken out by U-turn. As Torkoal comes in for what is likely the last time, does get to set Sun. Unless this Torkoal decides to hard switch. See the opposing side's Darkrai. You already know that this Darkrai is Choice Scarf. That may be that may be able to be taken advantage of by Professor Gazpacho here. Torkoal will switch out, bringing the Alomomola in, which does die. Gazpacho deciding to sacrifice the Alomomola and not the Torkoal, likely seeing the Torkoal as more helpful, as the Lilligant will come back in. The Slowking will now come in. As the Landorus is... No, sorry, the Landorus Darkrai is out. As the Slowking goes for the chilly reception, as the Houndoom does come back in. The Houndoom will not be able to make bad words. The Houndoom will not be able to do as much damage as it wants to do. It'll be able to do quite a lot of damage. We do see the Darkrai come back out on field. I don't know if it threatens enough damage here. It might. Can't say for certain though. Houndoom is not a very bulky Pokemon. Houndoom will be forced out as the Torkoal comes back in, setting Sun for the last time. As it dies to a Focus Blast. Landorus does come back on field. As Darkrai comes in, and Samurott comes in, dying to U-turn. bringing Houndoom back on field. This may be very strong for Professor Gazpacho. We're likely to see the Darkrai come back on field now. Oh, the Darkrai or the not the Houndoom, no, not the Slowking. That's not come back on field. I'll be very surprised if that comes back. Agitative thinking carefully. I believe they only have the Galarian Slowking and the not the Hisuian Samurai, the Darkrai left. They might have something else that I can't remember. Alright, the Medicham. Does come back on field, will not outspeed. I'd be looking for a fake out here. If it has it. Does go for fake out, does a huge amount of damage. That's how to takes the solar power chip anyway. We do see a bullet punch come out, but it won't be enough, as the Dark Pulse will now come out, taking out the Medicham. We may very well see the Houndoom be intentionally sacrificed here, so the Lilligant can come in safely. Let's go for Ice Beam, deciding that's what it wants to be locked into. Lilligant will come back on field, threatening this Darkrai back out. Now, if we do see the Slowking come back in, this Lilligant might be in trouble. Does go for close combat, doesn't do much. Landorus will come in as Slowking goes for chilly reception, allowing the Landorus to come back, no, the Darkrai to come back in. And Sun is gone. This might be it for Professor Gazpacho. This Darkrai may very well be able to just sweep from here. Lilligant is already very low. I think this is it. This is it. Agitative will bring it back in the end there, as Pokegalaxia will win 2-0, knocking Pokecafe out of the tournament. Pokegalaxia will move on, and let me just go check who they'll be fighting next. Poke Galaxia will be fighting the winners between Smash MC and Hex MC. And to all you people who are watching, we are not done quite yet. Well, we're done for now, but we will have another match coming up in an hour and about an hour and 15 minutes. Come see the exact scheduling information if you want on the Discord, which you can find on the website. Until then, though, I will see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Please do come back for the other matches later today. Once again, in about an hour and 15 minutes between Astral and iPixelmon. Astral is one of the highest seeded teams in the tournament. I believe seed 4. I could. But yeah, I do hope you come around for that. I'll see you then. My name is Alba, and I've been your commentator for today. Hope to see you later.